Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss the dealings with directors. Previously we have discussed the different types of directors and then independent non-executive directors, their role, criticism on them and related issues. Today we are going to discuss the individual matters which are faced by the directors. It starts from the induction and then election and then re-election and then personalities role on the board. So induction of directors. When directors are inducted or elected, there must be a proper orientation of newly elected directors with the company and with their roles. So there should be an orientation session with this related department of company, and then with the related role what directors are going to play the role, which role they have to perform. They should visit key locations of the company and understand the company's operation. So there should be a presentation by the different departmental heads about their functions, about their products, and about their services. There should also be some informal meetings with top managers, with major shareholders, institutional investor, to understand the expectation, what actually they want from the directors. So important consultant and professional associates, tax advisor, external auditor, external advisor, and there should be a range of meetings and discussions with those directors to give a proper orientation to them about the company so that they can know that how this company is working. There should also be some formal training of corporate governance, legal and tax matter so that they will know all related issues of the company and they can have a very good start in the matters of the company. There should be also a register of directors' interest, as we know that the interest of directors, and it is very important to know that what are the interest of the directors upon assuming of the office of a director. A formal declaration of interest should be there, and details of share held by him or his immediate family, that how much shares they previously hold, and then you can say that how much they have earned during the job with this company so that you can have a comparative analysis. So detail of other directorship held by him, how many directorship he or she hold previously. You know that in the code of corporate governance there is a limit of the board of directors to be director in different companies. Previously it was that you can be a director in maximum of 10 company, but now it has been limited to perhaps 7 company. So now you can become director in 7 company. If you are already director in 7 company, you cannot be the director of a 8th company. So interest in other related companies, dealing with the company. So if you are dealing with other companies and you have interest in those companies, and then you are joined over here as a director, so director is going to benefit the companies in which they have already dealings or shares or relationships. So it is very much important that after every deal, before every deal, there should be a detailed discussion on the issues which director are going to have with those other companies. If they have interest, so they should avoid such deals. His past and present relationship, if any, with the company or with any officials, so that should be noted and that should be written in the register of the directors. Any other relevant information, regular updating of this register related to their interest, and it must be available to the for the inspection of the related stakeholders, mainly to the auditor and those officials. So directors dealing with the company, director, especially independent non-executive director, should have no dealing with the company. So if directors are independent and non-executive, they must have a distance from the company and company management to make sure that there is nothing is going on inside between the management and the directors. So should be fair, transparent, at arm length manner. If even if there are some as you know that it is really important difficult to keep distance that director will not interact with management. They have to interact, they have to discuss things, they have to discuss issues, they will be having some communication, but that communication should be fair, transparent, and at arm's length, at equal pace. Mean there will be no boss, there will be no seniority, juniority, so there will be a proper arm's length manners. So no loan to directors on any terms and conditions. Disclosure of conflict of interest in each deal, as I have discussed in previous slide, that when you are going to enter into a deal, there should be no conflict of interest. If there are some, then they must be disclosed, that when you are going to make a deal with a company and that company have share of this director, so it's going to be an issue, so it is going to be a conflict of interest. So in that case, there may be a voting between among the directors that either we should go for that deal or not. In case of that, no participation in voting if needed. So the director who is having some interest in the other company with which you are going to make a deal, in case of voting, the person who is involved should not participate in voting. So collective responsibility, no misuse of information by the board members. So it is the collective responsibility of the board of director that there will be no misuse of information by the board members and management and company. So all significant deal with director should be put to shareholders. So if deals are being executed by the directors and directors have some interest, these such deal must be put in front of shareholders for voting and for passing such deals. All such transactions should also be disclosed in annual statements if they make any such deal transactions, and those transactions must be open to all and must not be kept secret, so everyone know that what directors are doing actually. Directors dealing in company shares, very most important topic, not forbidden by law. Even some suggest that director to own some shares. If you are going to be director of this company, then at least you should have some interest in the company in the form of shares, so that you can perform in the best interest of the company. However, it is legal and moral responsibility not to use any privileged information. That is the very important question, that if directors are having shares or they can buy and sell those shares, may they will use the privileged information which they have and the outsiders don't have. So information asymmetry can be caused over here. Insider, there are two things: insider trading and market abuse. So it's very important to clear these two concepts, and these should not be practiced by the director. First is insider trading. So insider trading is knowledge of undisclosed price sensitive information which some directors have and others don't have, such as on dividend announcement, normally price goes up. So on dividend announcement, directors know that either they are going to announce dividend or not. If they are going to announce dividend, how much dividend they are going to announce. So if they are going to announce too much dividend, then obviously after the announcement the price of share is expected to go up. So in that case, maybe just before announcing the share dividend, they buy shares by himself or by through their family members, and just a day or after two they will announce the dividend, price will goes up and they will sell the shares, so can earn a big profit in very short time. So this could be a dishonest use of insider price sensitive information, and it is a criminal offense, and directors should refrain themselves by from using insider trading, excuse me. So the other thing is market abuse, deliberate release of misleading and incorrect information in the market. Similarly, in this case, it can be that they actually want to move the share price in the desired direction of market abuser. If for instance, they want to buy shares, so they are going to propagate negative information in the market, so that market will listen about those negative information and the price of share will go down. They will purchase the share, and if they are going to sell the shares, maybe they will announce some fake news that company is going to in a big expansion, and maybe it's going to buy another company. So in that case, the news and rumors will be that the share of the company, the price of the share is going too high. So in that case, then they will sell their price shares. So it is going to be again market abuse. These are the practices around the world. Normally, it's really difficult to refrain anyone from such practices, because it's really difficult to catch such insider trading and market abuses. So in that case, it is really important to deal with such issues, and it should not be allowed by the directors, and directors should not do such activities which are not allowed. Either it's criminal offense or civil offense. However, it should be avoided. The next topic is re-election issues of the directors. It's normally directors come for a fixed tenure, but they are eligible for re-elections. So no restriction on the number of tenures directors are appointed. So if this is the case, there's a seldom company get new directors. So there is very less chances that new directors are going to be elected by the company, and there's a very less chance that new blood is going to be coming into the company. So, and degree of familiarity compromise the director independence, because those directors are being elected again and again and again. So those directors are going to have a relationship with the management, and then really independence is going to be compromised. So in that case, prevent the company from benefiting from new talents. It prevent the companies to benefit from the new blood, from the new talent. So reasonable limits should be imposed in this case, so that new directors can be appointed and new blood can be bring in into the system. For re-election of a director, nomination committee should evaluate the previous performance of the directors, even if it's important that you are going to re-elect previous directors. So there should be a nomination committee, and nomination committee should do evaluation, should contact to the professionals and to know the performance about those directors. And in case they are going to propose their names for re-election, the chairman of nomination committee must explain that why they are proposing the name of this director for re-election. So there should be a logical and sound reason for the election, for the proposition for proposing the name of those directors for re-elections. So, in addition to that, there are some other issues such as succession planning. If we are, as we have discussed, that there should be a limit for the directors to be re-elected in the board. If it's going to be applied, then there will be an issue of succession plan. Although new blood and new talent can be hired in the company, but there can be a shortage of the directors, as there will be a limit that directors cannot be appointed in the company for a specific after a specific time period. So in succession planning, in case of any restriction on tenure of the directors, so it is important function of nomination committee, and nomination committee should play this their role, and should prepare the directors for the upcoming election. So there should be no gap for the appointment of the directors, and much experienced and competent directors should be available for the companies to be elected in their board. So in addition to that, there can be a removal or disqualification of directors as according to the Company Act or article of the Association of Company. So there can be some restrictions on the directors, that if they there will be such issues, then those directors can be disqualified or removed from the board of the directors. So first is the convicted of crime. If a director do a crime, they are going to be removed or disqualified from the board of director. If they face bankruptcy or they will be insane, so companies have to remove those directors in that case. It can also be that they could not attend preset number of boards meeting, so they are going to be disqualified. In addition to that, if board of directors combinedly pass a resolution against any one of their director that this director is no more suitable for the company, and if that resolution will be passed with a majority, so those directors are going to be removed from the board of the company. In addition to that, there can be court order or regulatory orders to remove or disqualify some directors. So these can be the reasons of removal of or disqualification of a director. So the other main topic is the dominant personality aspects. In developing countries, it is a major issue that uh, there are dominant personality who are the principal cause of CG issues or even the failure of the companies. They could be actually the owner of the company or majority shareholder, and then they will dominate in the company, and dominant personality occupy the top position or such as chairman position or CEO position or even some other positions, but they will dominate because of the characteristics of such as charismatic, and they are powerful, they are intolerant, often seemingly sincere. When someone discusses them, they will convince them by their power of convincing, and they will be seems sincere to other directors, to other senior management officials, so does not nurture subordinates, so they will not let the subordinate to grow and to be prepared as a successor, so that's why they will remain the dominant personality. So how dominant personalities hurt the company? No one can have all the talents, they are not perfect, but as they are dominant and they are taking every decision according to their own mind, and they think this is what they are going to do and this is in the best interest of company, so may make wrong decisions and can harm the company. So people working around dominant personality lose interest in decision making because dominant personality are not letting them to take part in decisions and not accepting their opinions, so it will uh, they will not listen to them, so it's going to create problems as they will not participate in decision making and there will be no discussion among the top management, so it's going to harm the company again. Tendency to managing affairs. So when top management are such dominant personalities taking all the decisions and managing things by themselves, so it's going to create problem again. Do not groom a successor, they are not letting any other person, don't consider anyone else competent enough to take their place, so they don't have successor. Intolerance lead to departure of good managers, so these can be the problem. Dominant personality hurt the company. So that's all about from today lecture, and that's about all about the directors. So we will be moving to the next chapter. Questions are welcomed. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.